What's up, guys? Thomas Podcast back again. Myself, Denny. We got Nair and Meldon with me. Today's guest is Z. He's sneakerhead, big sneaker guy in the community, known by his company 23Penny. I'll let him introduce himself some more.
So I'm Z. I'm Chinese. I actually moved to the States when I was 12 years old. Lived all over the South, but I actually graduated high school up the street in Louisville, Kentucky. So after high school, moved to Atlanta, Georgia for college, and that's where I really kind of started flipping shoes and hustling and got to where I am now. So that's 23Penny, the online, and we have a brick and mortar store in Nashville, Tennessee, Soho Gallery as well.
How'd you get started into it? Like, what made you go into that?
So just being on the internet as a kid, when I was maybe 14, 15, discovering shoes and then kind of connecting that back with when I was watching Penny Hardaway and Michael Jordan playing basketball when I was actually living in China at the time. And, my dad used to stay up later, watching the games because of the time zone difference. Yeah. So early in the morning, just catching some of the games when I was a kid and then never really realized that, wow, those sneakers are being retroed and made again and put out into the market. So and discovering, a couple message boards like Nike Talk, and that really got me into kind of this rabbit hole of the crazy world of sneaker collecting and people lining up to buy sneakers and trading sneakers online and all that jazz. So
I know people they always talk about how the market's so big in China. Could you kind of speak about that, kind of how tapped in they are over there? Like, do they just know the LeBrons, or is it kind of they're actually tapped into the games, watching them, all that?
Well, I think if you Google, you can there might be a stat that the NBA viewership in China is way bigger than the viewership here in U.S. just because of the population difference. Mm-hmm. And I think outside of just the hoop, the hoop scene and people buying basketball shoes to wear on the court to, whether it's the LeBron, the KDs, or the Kyries, there are a lot of people that buy the sneakers because of the fashion trends. So there's a guy named G-Dragon, I think is a Korean K-pop star. So every shoe that he wears, it's got the Midas touch, and that
blows up.
Yeah, so small sizes from like a 6 to a 9.5 go for thousands. Shit. I remember a couple years ago he wore this. I think it was a Diamond Turf shoe. Mm-hmm. He wore it on stage, and that shoe was on sale everywhere in the U.S. for $50. But if you bought the right sizes, the overseas market was paying $200 a pair.
So is that something you've tapped into? Is
for sure.
Overseas market's different.
Yeah. So which is interesting, is something maybe the listeners can do is if you look up some of the Jordan 1 high OG styles and prices, you can see that like the size 8 through 9.5, the prices are way higher than the 10.5 through 14s. Yeah. Just because of the demand of the Chinese market, and it's also the fact that China is the biggest producer of the sneakers, but at the same time they have the most counterfeit shoes. So. And it's funny because most of the sneakers are still a good amount of sneakers are still being distributed and sold at U.S. retailers. So a lot of that is the Chinese people, they don't have access to these shoes. They have to like
counterfeit them.
Or if you want to really buy the authentic, which I think to them has a great emphasis on, they want to buy it from a U.S. retailer. Okay. So that's why the resale game is. Yeah, part of it is being dictated by the Chinese demand and the Korean buyers.
So does it mean you have to kind of keep up with pop culture, kind of like what's going on, who's wearing what? Does that kind of help you figure out what you need to be?
For sure, and I think this year, last year, 2019, really came to the forefront because the K-pop star G-Dragon actually did an Air Force One collab with Nike. So that I thought that was like full circle because I remember a couple years ago just driving and hitting every little mom and pop shop or Foot Locker just trying to find the shoe. Because it's like it's on sale for $60, or they're flipping for $200. I mean, that's easy. You know what I mean? It's easy money. So
I think that's kind of something that can be tailored to all businesses. Any hustle you're trying to do is kind of doing your research and studying, and kind of being like chess, being 4, 5, 6 moves ahead, other than other people. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to play catch up.
Yeah, because you studying what he's wearing, and then getting it before everybody else catches on to it, that's a big advantage.
Also, I think kind of what we talk about in business school, right? Is this like textbook stuff is talk about like the barriers, right? So that thing was a geographic barrier. So a lot of those Diamond Turf shoes were released here in the U.S. Yeah. So they were only really available in the U.S. Mm-hmm. So overseas, even though they want to buy them at their store, they don't have them. So that's where some of the opportunity lies, right? Whether it's
Yeah.
technological barrier, whether it's geographic, whether it's something that's like, hey, you need a degree to do this, you can't do this, right? Just like with LeBron, Rich Paul, and then the NBA kind of said, oh, Rich Paul, you need a college degree to be an agent,
Yeah.
But that's something that like it's really the Rich Paul rule, right? I mean,
It is. That's what they call it.
just making a barrier so other people can't enter. It's the same thing as the lawyers when they kind of get together and say, let's make the bar exam harder and harder, so there will be less lawyers
Yeah.
coming into this game,
That's true.
right? So barriers are one of those things that I always look at.
Yeah. So kind of going from your passion with shoes and all that, not really how you made shoes a career, but how would you tell the audience how to make their passion a career? So whether they like painting walls or whether they like shoes or whatever they like to do, what's one step you would go into making it a career rather than going working a 9 to 5 and then doing it at home?
I got you. But before all that, I kind of want to talk about a point I talked with Denny earlier, just about how my advice that I'm given might be only applicable to me, but I feel like it will be me giving you advice and tell you to do exactly what I did would be like me giving you the ticket that I want, the numbers that I won the lottery with, right? Like it doesn't really help you. Maybe you'll be like, hey, I did this way, you can do it that way. But for me, just being able to turn selling shoes into a career was just for me to really double down myself and then figure out, hey, like if you see something working and you're able to kind of maybe forecast and see, hey, maybe this is really going somewhere and I can really make a career out of this, you should give that, you should take that leap of faith and give that a chance, because I feel like it's easier to be doing a lot of entrepreneurial stuff when you're young, when you don't really have a lot of, things like a mortgage or maybe a family to provide for. And I feel like, opportunities when you're young, you should be able to seize that a lot easier. So for me, just being 18, going to college, I had a lot of opportunity because I didn't really have a lot of things on the side that I'm doing. So I can spend a lot of time working on selling shoes and figure out the market and study the game and figure out, oh, these are the trends of the year. And so a combination of those things, along with just being able to figure out my priorities, what values do I want to provide in my business, whether it's great customer service, the shoes are always authentic, or just be able to kind of keep up with what the people want from a sneaker reseller. So those are, just a combination of those things help me really like kind of take my side hustle into a full-time career. So
For sure.
I think most people have the blockade of they can't do what they if they see shoes, they never see the business side of it. So I think that's something that you've done and you've done different with making it into a business.
A lot of light on it, yeah.
Yeah.
for sure, I think in this era of age, right? Like all the information is at the finger, at your fingertips. So it might be easier now, but to me, when I first started, there were a couple people that were instrumental in opening the doors for me and show me how that worked. And it's also for me to spend a lot of time on Nike Talk, on ISS, Soul Collector, and really just soaking up a little bit of the game. So people might have written a forum post about something, and I'm reading that, and I'm like, wow, what can I take away from all this, right? Like I studied a couple things, right? I'm reading some of the posts, and be like, oh, okay, they used to do this, do that, take notes, right? So like just really be a student of the game.
Yeah.
So how many, let me ask you how many hours did you put in weekly? Like, honestly, into studying the market, all that.
When I was a full-time student, undergrad, I was probably putting in a good 35 hours. And that's including like driving, shipping shoes, going to sneaker shows, spending time on the internet, building client relationships, all that. So it's a lot, but I think at this point, so 2011 officially to now, which is 2020, probably it's a lot. So probably still working 40 hours, but the hours you lose track of it.
Yeah, it just fluctuates.
Using like Nike Talk and forums like that, do you ever network with any of those people specifically, or you just kind of use what they wrote on there?
Yeah. So what's funny is that I actually met my business partner on Nike Talk.
Oh yeah.
So I moved from New York. Now he's with me in Nashville, Tennessee.
That's what's up.
So it's funny how that, right, you
out.
can actually build genuine relationship back when you maybe didn't have a lot of personal information
Yeah.
on the internet, and it was just the avatar and a screen name,
Little
right? And
description.
yeah, so yeah, but I still keep in contact with a couple people, and that first summer when I was selling shoes, I actually made a connect on Nike Talk that gave me the employee discount on Nike.
That's what's up.
It was like 40% off the entire website.
Yeah.
So that's how like I really got in the game, right? Like just having that access to that, and be like, oh, I can buy it for this and sell it for that. So
That helps a
Did
lot.
you ever think about using kind of the cheat code where people use robots and stuff like that to get more shoes at a time than once, or
I think it's definitely a cheat code, but it's also maybe part of the
business?
The game?
grind.
yeah, it's part of the game, right?
it
It's
now.
like it's not just selling shoes anymore. It's selling services. It's selling people doing YouTube videos. So with that, it adds. There's going to be a lot more players, different fields. Like people used to buy those force fields,
Yeah.
right? And now they
Yeah,
sell like the
keep
sole protector thing, so you can like your soles don't get dirty. You can like wrap
Yeah.
that, like or they sell like the sneaker bags. You can put it on when it rains.
The game changes. You got to
Yeah.
adapt to it. That's the way I look at
Yeah.
it.
They're selling
what you got.
sneaker wipes, sneaker cleaners.
Yeah.
They're selling bags. You can put the sneakers in. So, but the thing about the bots to me is that when I looked at it in 2014, I'm like, wow, that's an opportunity I need to get into.
Oh, yeah.
But now looking at 2020, everybody has a bot.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So
everybody.
the advantage kind of slowly slips
levels
away
out,
as
yeah.
the time goes on because more and more people have access to those things.
Yeah.
You got to look at what's next in the game, and what's another way you can advance.
Always be a foot ahead.
For sure, and also just figure out competitive advantage, right? So just different. Look at the game multidimensionally and figure out what you are good at. Maybe someone else can't copy,
Yeah.
right? So the bot thing, it's like you can go get a bot, you can go get a bot, you can go get a bot
Yeah.
tomorrow. One of you can really get lucky and hit 1,000 pairs online, but 2 releases down the road, you might only get 4 pairs.
Yeah. So it's not consistent.
So for the viewers who don't understand kind of what bots are, can you just briefly explain what a bot is and what it does?
So a bot, along with proxies, is a kind of a program you set up to cheat the checkout
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
So if you ever go on Adidas to buy a Yeezy Boost 350, you click the thing and you add it to the cart. You pick your size, you add to the cart, and it just kind of tell you, hey, it's sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
or
shoe
you're in
comes
the queue
out
or whatever.
Yeah, the shoe comes out at 10 o'clock on the dot. It's gone at 10:01.
Yeah.
And you wonder how that's possible.
It's
That's
bots.
because those robots are a lot faster than you
Humans,
clicking and put your credit card information in. So
Yeah.
all those things are preloaded with the information that you need. I mean, it literally takes 1 or 2 seconds
Yeah.
to check out a pair of shoes, and boom, you're done.
Compared to 15, 20 if you're actual.
Yeah.
Sitting there clicking
Or you're on
through
your
it.
phone,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
you're on your phone, and then you're just like, oh.
Which now I think Yeezy's a little bit more accessible than they were when they first came out. Now they're kind of mass producing them, and I think just about anybody can get a pair now. Like compared to the beginning, like the Turtle Doves are like what, 1,300 resale now. You can't get a pair of those at all.
I think total levels were around 2,600,
Yeah.
maybe like 3 years ago now. That
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of just took a dive down. But yeah, like what you said, they're making more units, but at the same time, the demand is
Still
still
high.
like, yeah, we're selling Yeezys.
Yeah.
Like over the holidays, we sold a ton of Yeezys.
Speaking of Yeezys, just a little off topic. What do you prefer? You think the Nike Yeezy, the Red October, was better than all these releasing now?
I think the Air Yeezy 1 is probably the best
The best.
Yeezy. Yeah.
That's the gray one with like the
You think
The
you
light
think
green or
Adidas
whatever?
is releasing too many to where it's like they're losing their value?
Well, he kind of
Yeah.
has to, right? He wants to make like a lot of money
That is
to
true.
like pay his debt, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just thought the first one, design wise, that was the best looking shoe. It was
Mm-hmm.
like the Marty McFly, the Air Tech Challenge. You know what I mean? It was a lot of things that worked together to make it really like it really stood out. Like if
Yeah.
you wore that shoe, it matched the Kanye persona,
Yeah.
right? It was
especially in
when
that
he-
era. Yeah.
Yeah, when he wore those the glasses with
glasses,
the
yeah,
with the
that
lines, it
everybody
was like
wanted, yeah.
it's really like one of those. It's like if you walk in the door, and make the statement and it's like I'm here.
Yeah.
Right. I thought the second one was a little bit more luxurious, but that quality on some of those pairs were not good.
Mm-hmm.
And the Adidas one I think is just more for comfort. And like what you said, they're making so many pairs that it is like, you know what I mean. It's when you make too many of something, it
It's-
stops
yeah.
being cool.
Yeah,
Right.
I
And
agree.
it's like I'm tired of seeing a lot of kids wearing like Nike socks with Adidas. Like you see it a lot.
Yeah, keep
Like,
it going.
True, yeah.
Keep consistent.
That is true.
Kind of going on the thing that you said is that like a lot of people are getting these bots, this and that. More people are getting a hold of their shoe. So like what makes you stand out? What what's the difference you did? Not really you did, but what's like the marketing and all that, the strategy you did that helps you stand out from all the other people that are selling kicks? Because you got people like
What
like
separates
Benjamin
you
Kicks.
from everybody else?
He's a huge person in selling shoes. So like, what would you say made you stand out rather than everybody else? Was it kind of being the first one, or?
No, maybe just by the variety that we sell. So I think a lot of people are only so focused on selling the Yeezy, the Jordans, the Jordan 1s. So whatever, you know what I mean, is guaranteed money. But I look at it as a long game. So I saw a lot of shoes that you might not even know what the model looks like. I saw a lot of Team Jordans.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of Air Forces. Saw a lot of Vans. So just be able to kind of scale the business in that way, because end of the day, you can get 100 pairs of, this Yeezy one release, but it's not coming out again.
Yeah.
So if I'm able to find certain models that work for me and sell for me, and I can go get 100 more pairs or something when I run out, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
So that opens up a different kind of,
Consistency.
you know what I mean? Just be able to scale a business. When you talk about scaling a business, Chipotle, they're not really running out of food, right?
Yeah.
The sneaker game is different because everything is limited by nature.
You got to wait so many years for it to come back.
Yeah, so if you sell 100 Yeezys, I can't go get another 100 Yeezys the next
Very
week.
true.
So for me, it's just about being able to sell, Class A products, which are like really, really hot. To B is kind of like, people want it, but like I'm competing on price to see like maybe some of the obscure sneakers that you don't really see a lot, and I'm the only seller on eBay with this item. Or like D, it's like, I'm just like, these are $50 Vans and I'm just selling.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it? Did you ever like think about hitting up different celebrities and this and that to kind of promote you as a seller?
Networking
Like
wise.
a private shopper or whatever.
It's too much hassle.
Yeah.
I sold to plenty of famous people before.
Was it off eBay or just straight up
a couple
contact?
a couple off the network I built in Atlanta. But yeah, I mean, they're just normal people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like
to me,
shoes.
I always say, your money isn't of any inferior quality of like the celebrity. So
Yeah.
like if he wants a shoe, he can get it.
Yeah.
But I'm not about to be out here clout chasing really for
just
that,
for
because
him, yeah.
because it doesn't play to my goal, which is to scale a business. So like that 1-2 pair shouldn't cost me a lot of effort and time to sell. Like
Yeah.
that's not really like, if you're looking for a shoe and it's really hard to find, I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for that shoe for you, because it does really add to the longevity
away,
of my business. You know what I mean? It's like I can't find the shoe.
Just for you, yeah.
But
Yeah.
wouldn't it scale your business as in like just getting your name out? Because all these rappers, they got little fans that like if they see that rapper bought a shoe from them, you got 100 fans that'll run to you just to buy the same shoe. Not the same shoe, any shoe. They'll kind of like Benjamin Kicks. He was with a lot of rappers like DJ Khaled and all that, and you see a lot of people just buying from him just for that reason, even though you may be selling the same shoe for a little bit cheaper, but authentic.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not really our part of strategy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just think that some of the clout stuff is just, it's here today, there tomorrow.
Oh, yeah,
Because I mean,
gone tomorrow.
but maybe 2 weeks later, there's 6 more posts, and you don't really see that.
Yeah.
Switch up the topic a little bit. You said you went to college down in Atlanta, right? Did you go to GSU or
I went to Emory University.
Emory? One of the topics we talk about on this show a lot is college and how applicable it is, especially if you're an entrepreneur doing your own thing. Would you say a lot of what you learned in school could be used in what you're doing now, or is it kind of just whatever going with the flow?
Self-experience.
So I'll give a little background information. So I went to Emory University, which is a private college down in Atlanta. About 6,000 undergraduate kids. I wanted to study economics, and when I got there, I learned that, hey, there's the business program is one of the best in the nation, and you can get in as an undergrad. So I applied for that, got in early. So freshman year, second semester, I'm in there. Take accounting, take all the basic classes, and then took entrepreneurship, you know what I mean, one of the classes. And I finished with 2 degrees, which is organization and management. Really, in the real world, they call it consulting. And I have a degree in marketing. So I say all that to say that, yes, I did the thing. But in my opinion, to be an entrepreneur, I rather would have had the choice. I rather would have had the opportunity to a la carte style my courses. Because I took a lot of courses that I feel like didn't really apply to me. Mm-hmm. But there were courses that I took that I was like, wow, this is very important in me learning how to build a business. Like if I'm shipping a lot of shoes, I'm using tape and boxes and all these things. So I need to figure out my supply. I need to figure out, hey, if I'm low, if I'm only have 200 boxes left, I should order more boxes. So some of these things in the end played into my business. Like come up with a marketing plan.
Yeah.
Or like come up with a business plan. Like all these things I feel like played into my success in the business, but at the same time, I might not really needed to take that accounting class, right? But I took it and it helped me. Maybe I can't explain to you how that helped me, but
It did.
It did. In the long run. Somehow it did. You took something from the class, regardless.
Yeah, but I feel like I could have just read a book on my own and not had to pay $4,000 a class.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel on that one.
That's kind of the big issue with the money. Was the money worth it? In the end, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But
Yeah, I mean, I still have student loans, so
even after all, fuck it. With e-commerce kind of rising up inside right now, do you think that's the easiest way to get into the business right now, or do you think traditional or more conventional ways of doing business are preferable?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think if you are maybe in a city like New York City where there are a lot of resellers, it's probably easier to be online. But I think if you're in a town like Bowling Green and you really want to make a name for yourself, you should sell online, but at the same time, build local connections and be like, hey, I sell kicks, or you know what I mean? Locally reach out and then do some networking physically, because it's the idea like smaller, like a big fish, little pond, right? Or like big pond, little fish. So for me, I look at e-commerce as something you can build on, but at the same time, it's all about your brand. Right. So if you don't have maybe something that really can distinguish yourself like online from the other sellers, maybe you don't have, maybe you're selling the same thing as everyone else, but you're charging a little bit higher, it's really not going to work. Right. But if you have a brand locally that you can, you know what I mean? Like you said, like Benjamin Kick, he's selling to a celebrity. That's one way to kind of open the door for your business. But like my to continue on that, it's like if Benjamin Kick's charging $500 for a pair of shoes and the shoe's only really worth $300, are these dudes on Instagram really going to buy that?
Yeah, I feel that.
So you have to be in tune with how you're moving the products. Maybe there's some shoes that locally you can sell, like the Jordan 11s. That shoe, year after year, sells out.
Yeah,
every single time.
year.
Yeah, and then
no matter what they drop.
Yeah, so if you hold on to those for 6 months, you will sell it. Somebody locally will buy that shoe.
Yeah.
But online, it's not really going for anything. You might make $15 a pair online, and you just did all this legwork.
That's true.
So you just got to figure out whether the shoe is built for e-commerce or whether it's something that like you can sell locally.
Yeah, because I mean, locally you can quickly just become known as that guy with a shoe. Just like we're the guys with the podcast here in Bowling Green. I don't think anybody else has a podcast that I know of.
Yeah.
If you do, hit us up. We'll collab.
Yeah, big fish, little pond.
Yeah. So you quickly be known as that guy. With companies emerging like StockX, they're fucking huge in e-commerce now. And like you were saying, with 11s, you can barely, now they sell under retail a lot. Do you think that's kind of emerging into what you're doing, or do you find yourself kind of separate from that?
I saw on StockX.
Oh, you do?
I have a rep that I talk to on a weekly basis.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
We
in
do.
tune with everything.
Our volume isn't really that high on StockX or GOAT, but we do a good job of kind of watching what they do, and for me, the thing that separates StockX and GOAT with us is the fact that there's such a it's a way longer handling time. So then you buy a pair of shoes right now. Today's Wednesday.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get the shoes till next Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, I've noticed. I've gotten 2 pairs of shoes off StockX.
I've never shopped.
You have to basically ship to StockX where they like verify, make sure it's like authenticated.
Yeah.
They give you a little chip and then they send it to you. So that's 2 different mailing processes.
And you live in the middle of the country, so you might get it on like next Thursday.
Yeah.
But if you live in California, they ship UPS.
You're waiting 2 weeks to get
or
shoes.
Oregon. Yeah, it's gonna take 4 or 5 business days for StockX to get to you.
That's wild.
Right? Or they ship it to the California one, and it's a lot closer. But so if you really need a shoe in 3 days, it's not going to get to you. And I just think that as a seller, there is no way to grow your brand.
If people are waiting that long?
No, just on StockX, because everything on StockX's Go isn't about, Melton, you're selling shoes. Denny, you're selling shoes. It's about who's got the lowest price.
Okay.
The lowest price goes first on these platforms.
And StockX takes a lot. Like, if your margins are low, StockX takes a lot. I sold some Jason Tatum Air Maxes because I just didn't want them.
The 97s, yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't want them. I bought them in Nashville and I sold them, and I saw they were reselling for them a little bit more right when they came out. So I sold them, and like I didn't do them for profit, but I sold them on Goat, and like I sold them for like $60 over retail, and they took like $40, and I was like,
Yeah.
Is
So
that
they
a
take
flat
about
rate or
on
the
average
percentage?
they take about 9 to 10%.
yeah,
fee.
and then it took like a week and a half just to get my money. That's not for him to get the shoe.
Yeah.
So like it was a whole hassle. I would never do it again.
Sounds like a
You never do it again?
Nah, I wouldn't do it again. I'd just keep the damn shoe. For real.
Or sell locally.
Yeah.
What kind of influenced you to go from being like strictly online to building like a physical store?
Brick and mortar.
Yeah.
People want to try shoes on.
That's very
It's
true.
a big deal. Yeah,
That's very
you got to
true.
see how they fit. I don't know how many shoes I went into like Foot Locker or City Gear or something. I'm like, oh, I like those. I put them on, look in the mirror. Oh, you're an idiot because I'm fucking short, and they don't look good on me at all. I just put them back.
The most used phrase at our shop that all employees needed to know is, here's the shoe mirror. To the left of the Jordan wall is a full body mirror.
Yeah.
So you can see how they look on your feet.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as we progress with the e-commerce, I mean, e-commerce is not going away, right? It's a
Yeah, it's
bear.
always
It's
gonna
going
be
to eat
there.
everything
Yeah.
in its path.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like shoes, clothing, all these things, it's like you have to try some of the stuff on to see how it fits.
For sure.
Because I'm pretty sure some of the listeners had experiences where you thought, oh, I wear XL, and you get this thing, and it's like, wow, this thing fits like
Yeah.
a nightgown on me, right? And then you have to like go return it or go exchange it.
Yeah, it's
that
hassle.
requires you to like go, you know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
might as well just should have just gone to the store.
Yeah, that is true.
So yeah, even like depending on like the region the shoe's made in, like the sizing is very different. I think that's where like the variability in sizes is. I say like you're a size 8 in this shoe and a size 9, completely different shoe. I think it's like if you're in Europe, their numbers run differently.
Yes.
Not
Well-
like on the size like the 44 or whatever, but like a size 9 in Europe is a super small shoe. over
Well,
there, I
size
think.
9. Well, size
Yeah.
9 UK, I think it's a size 8 US or something
Yeah,
like that.
it's like that. It's just like one margin.
Yeah, so
it's
but
a
that's
huge
just the
difference.
conversions. I think
Yeah.
the biggest thing in sizing is like going from Adidas to New Balance to Nike
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Asics. They all really just run differently, and maybe just like the narrowness, like how
Yeah.
narrow or wide the shoes are.
Yeah, that's a big deal too. If you got fat feet,
So running e-commerce running an e-commerce business, I used to have one about like I had an Instagram page with like 40-something thousand followers, and it was about S2000s cars. And I was just wondering, I had a lot of returns. How for people trying to start e-commerce, how would you? That's one thing that killed me in the e-commerce world is like a lot of people get their stuff and then they want to return it.
You gotta take returns.
You just have to.
Well,
do
on my
it.
eBay, I say no return. If I sold a lot of shoes that day and I feel good, I'll accept the return.
Yeah.
Right now I got 1 penny. I'm not even answering for 2 days. I'm gonna stone that and then be like, sorry, I'm not taking returns, because in my fine print as a seller policy, I don't
Says
take
no,
returns.
Yeah.
'cause you don't hold shipping back either. You gotta go through the process of making sure.
What's the
They send
biggest?
Yeah, but that's just customer service. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, but the worst thing is when people wore the shoe and then they
try
return
to
it,
return
and,
it, yeah.
and they get their money back, and it's a loophole.
It's a hassle.
Yeah,
But
So
it-
is that
it's-
is that the biggest thing with you starting an e-commerce business? Was that your biggest problem? Just people wearing them, or was it just not doing returns at all? Because I know when I buy off eBay, if I'm buying, let's say, $700 shoes, and I see no returns, to me, what rings in my head and probably rings in other
They're
people's
fake.
heads is they're fake. Why would they? Why would they not want to return it? You know what I mean? If I didn't put them on this and that, I should be able to return them.
But you might also be one of the few people that actually read the fine print on eBay.
That is true.
Yeah, that is.
There's a
true.
lot of people that just
It's-
they're just
yeah.
on it, woo, and they just buy it.
Yeah, I read it and I'm like, that kind of like those two things don't click to me. Like if I'm buying, let's say, like I bought a $500 headlight for a BMW and I saw no returns and I'm like, oh shit, is it fake? Does it not work? Does it not this? So I went off and I bought a more expensive one.
But I got 4,000 feedback.
That helps
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Helps
that
too,
helps
like,
a
yeah.
lot.
But starting
feedback.
the reason I asked you that was for the people that are
Starting out.
because
Okay, yeah, I get you.
like what would your advice be? Take returns or kind of just go off no returns and just write a fine print policy.
Well, I would that fine print policy really matters, right? If there's something wrong with the item, like if I send you a mismate or there's a scuff on the shoe, yeah, I'm taking that return.
Yeah.
I have to, right? Because that's part of me. But like if it's just for sizing, if I don't have if I have another size, cool, send it back. You pay for shipping, and I'll send you one the replacement. I'll pay for the shipping.
Yeah.
So it just but again that's what I'm talking about in terms of just be able to scale your business. So like these costs at the end of the day, if you take 3 returns a month, $30-$40, whatever, in transit fees, and you lost all that money. You saw 100 pair of shoes. That's $3 a shoe. You're covering that.
Yeah. So just study really. Like
Yeah, you just have it. You
calculate.
Yeah,
Calculate.
there is lost costs in all businesses, right? Just like restaurants, right? They say like, I don't like this dish, or like this is not cooked well.
Yeah.
You know, like they're just tossing that on the back. They're not, you know what I mean? Like it's
Throw
part
it
of the
back on the
restaurant
grill.
cost.
I got you.
Yeah, put it in the microwave. Like, there you go. It's hot now.
Has it ever crossed your mind to kind of go into clothing as well, not just shoes only, like getting into like shirts or like just, I don't know, like hypebeast apparel, like selling Supreme and stuff like that? Or...
We have those in store.
Oh yeah, in store.
But that's why I found on the online of selling like the clothing is just it's way too much work.
What's that?
It's just there's not enough profit margin to keep paying for shipping on stuff like that. At least with shoes, I'm paying $8 to $14 on average to ship a shoe. Like we're making more than that. So like
Yeah, you're making a lot.
Yeah, like you know, like shirts, like they're $30-$40. Like you take a return, you know, you just
Lost
did all that work
profit.
for free. Yeah, you know. So in store, it's like you can try this stuff on.
Where's your store
See if
located
it
at in
fits.
Nashville?
It's a little bit right outside of downtown in Hendersonville.
Hendersonville?
So it's a little bird, but you cut on 65 North,
Yeah.
take 385, little split right there. It's right. It's a mile, 2 miles away from Rivergate Mall.
Okay.
You know where it is.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
like more, the online stuff or the brick and mortar? Where you
Well,
actually
whatever
get to-
makes money.
whatever
Yeah,
makes money.
that's the
End of
response
the day,
I
that's
like.
what matters.
There you
You
go.
got to. I mean, it's cool to have a business, but I feel like if you're not making money or it looks like, hey, like if you crunch all the numbers and that doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Maybe it's not worth. I get you have passion for stuff, but
Yeah.
you also got to pay bills. Like, you know what I mean? I have for me as an entrepreneur, I have other aspirations, other projects I'm working on. Going back to what you said about, hey, are you making other clothes? I need to make profit so I can go buy some shirts and print the shirts and like do more, right?
Yeah.
Like you need cash flow.
That
So
is
like
true.
if your business is not really making money, maybe it's time to kind of
Do something else.
maybe
Change something up.
kind of figure out, hey,
Okay.
what part of it is holding you back from making money,
Yeah.
right? Maybe fix that, or if it doesn't work, sorry, maybe. You know, they say a bunch of small business, right? There's got to be a stat out there. There's like 80% of small business don't work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That is true.
After the first year, they closed down.
That's the
Yep.
main thing about businesses is adapting. You can't just be releasing the same shit over and over and then thinking like if it ain't working, I'm just gonna keep pushing it.
Yeah.
At one point, you're supposed to stop. Hey, let's reevaluate. Let's look at this. Let's see what works, what
Yeah.
doesn't,
Take
and
a
then
step
let's move
back.
on forward. You know what I mean?
I think that's the thing cool about sneakers is like the idea of cool. Like the idea of cool changes.
Oh.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
Sure.
like this year, last year, the skateboard Nike SB shoes are back.
Yeah.
Travis Scott was like the coolest guy on.
Yeah.
It was Kanye, now it's Travis Scott.
Yep.
So I don't know who's gonna be next, but I just know like
It's
5 years
gonna
ago Jordans were popping,
Yeah.
and then Yeezys, and then now it's like Fear God,
Yeah. The
Jerry
figure
Jerry
out.
Lorenzo, right? You
So
got
that's perfect into the transition I was
Yeah.
going to was how do you think the sneaker game from changed from 2000s to now? Like that's a huge. Do you think the rap game influenced a lot of this?
I think Instagram influenced everything.
Instagram.
I think when you show people how you can wear a shoe, it opens the door for them to emulate some of the styles and imitate. You know what I mean? Because like one of the biggest thing, I don't know if you guys are big NBA fans, but one of the thing, even with NFL, it's like they have the guys that do like the fits when they arrive at the game. They got the AirPods
Yeah.
and they got
Yeah,
some shoes.
everything, yeah.
PJ Tucker, right? He's got like some $3,000 shoes he's wearing, and he's got another pair of $3,000 shoes that he's who's a client of mine from time to time. And he's got another pair that he's gonna wear on
Yeah.
the court that night. So like that's bringing back, I think, something that's lost is that like, hey, we're paying attention to how they dress, what they're
Yeah.
wearing. They're wearing a lot of Balenciagas. They got a lot of, just they're wearing all the designer stuff right now,
Yeah.
right? But it's like that's hot right now. But you don't know like,
What's it
like,
gonna be hot?
yeah, the year later they might
Yeah.
be like, yeah, we're wearing like Gucci, like you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's true.
Peach is definitely a shoe god. That's in the NBA. Peach
Yeah.
is that guy.
Man, Kuz got the
who's
most
got a
sauce.
Puma deal?
Yeah,
So you can only wear Pumas now.
Yeah.
he wears designer still though. He still wear designer. I think
that's
it's
kinda
just on the
competitive
court.
to
On the
game.
court. So
On the
anyway,
court,
so the sneaker deal works is that like it depends on what kind of terms you got in there, but on court you have to rep that or anywhere
Yeah.
like if you're there for like a photo shoot or something and you're in like a uniform, you have to wear that brand.
Yeah.
I think Puma is the only brand. It's one of the brands that has the most flexibility. I think that's why Meek Mill signed with him because
Yeah.
Meek Mill he said something about Puma is he can wear other designers. He
Yeah.
just when let's say he goes to an event like to the Grammys or something, he has to wear Puma. But other than that, you see a lot of them rocking designer and all that shit. And you see Puma teaming up with designer now too.
Yeah.
So
Puma's definitely trying to change. They're in tap of the culture, of course.
I mean, to be honest, if you're an Adidas athlete,
Yeah.
I know they're still buying Nikes.
oh yeah.
If you're a Nike athlete, you're still buying Yeezys.
Oh, yeah, for
They're
sure.
just you can't wear it in
On
public.
the court, yeah.
That's all it is. They're, you know what I mean? Like contractually, yeah, they're you know what I mean. They're trying to secure a bag as well, right?
Yeah,
so
of course.
but it's different. Like the private life, you don't really see that. You only see what's on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why the whole point is like everything comes back to Instagram.
That's
You
running
have
the game right
like
now.
those accounts that's popping is all like very well done edited shots of sneakers, and those are like on the discovery page, and people are like, wow, what's that?
Look at this.
That's
Where
one
can
thing.
I
It
get
has to be
this?
very visually appealing because that's all you have. All you have is the pictures. Yeah, no one's gonna read the damn caption. They see the picture, and that's all they see. Like if they go through your page where it's like all the 9 blocks, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like people went through a phase like where they would post 9 separate pictures just to make it one big picture.
Yeah.
Like
I
a
remember that.
mosaic, or I don't know what the fuck it's called. Yeah.
That's
Uh,
what people used to do on the walls, right? They would
Yeah.
chop up like a
Yeah.
Like
big
chop up
poster
pictures and then
then-
like make it in one big picture.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so this game's all about the visuals, and I think that helped. That's been really big in designer clothing and just shoes in general.
you got any more clients in the NBA or like?
That you can disclose.
Couple's not really in there. Got some NFL guys, MLB guys, no hockey guys really. Some
You just tap in
rappers.
with them through Instagram or
Usually they find me,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, or like word of mouth, or. But I mean, honestly, some of the guys like, some of the like the I don't want to say like B grade rappers, but like second.
Yeah.
Like,
Who was
they're-
your,
I know what you're saying. Like
They're just
yeah.
like they don't even respond. Like you just tell them, so I just give up. It's not really worth the time. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to sell a massive amount of sneakers, so
Yeah.
for me to spend an hour trying to like find what this guy wants,
His $300 the same as mine.
yeah,
That's what
like
he said, yeah.
instead of me selling you a pair of shoes that's $1,000, I can just sell 4 pairs and I'll make the same amount of margin, right? So like there's no need unless it's like I'm selling you a pair of shoes that's $6,000. Oh yeah, then I'm kind of tapped in because well the margin on
Yeah,
a pair of shoe that's $6,000 is a lot different than a
Yeah.
$200 shoe.
Of course.
And another thing is that I wanted to kind of tap into is the random shit thrown on shoes and then becoming exclusive.
Oh,
Like what's the shoe we just talked about?
the
before?
Off-White Dunk,
Yeah.
the Virgil Abloh.
Do you like? Tell me an honest opinion. Do you really like how they
Look
look?
that shoe up. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
The
Do you really
Off-Whites-
like how they look?
Some of the shoes are cool.
I gotta look it up.
So to maybe give the listeners like a kind of a breakdown of like maybe how the Off-White stuff is really, Virgil collaborated with Nike. 2 years ago, they released the 10 collection, which is deconstructing some of the most iconic Nike and Jordan models, and then make them so like put his own spin on it. So expose the tongue, maybe put
Yeah.
writings on the side, but something very obvious. So the idea is that he's crafting something that maybe you can do at home,
That is true.
right? So like I can see that Off-White Dunk. It's just a regular pair of SB Dunk Low, and you put kind of some like plastic things on it, and run the shoestring through it. You know what I mean? You can do that. You
Yeah.
can like
Anyone can.
it's a little DIY project, and I feel like that's his kind of MO when it comes to streetwear. It's very simple, but it's just like it's something that like catches your eye 'cause it's
different.
so
You have to have
different.
an eye
It's
for it
different.
though too. If you do, like, if I did, I'd probably end up looking ugly as shit.
Nah, he's got to
I
be
think.
confident.
Yeah, but all the country singers in Nashville want to wear Off-White.
Really?
They want to wear Off-White. They want to wear Jordan 1s. They don't want to wear the cowboy boots anymore.
Seriously?
Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's
Did
a
not
big thing
know
now,
that.
too.
What?
I did not know
I'm telling
that.
you, you go to Nashville, you go to a lot of these places, people are Off-Whited out.
See,
I
I
got
got
an
off.
Off-White suitcase.
Off-White's
My
huge
wallet's
this year.
Off-White.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got off-white Air Forces, but like I just bought them because they look good.
I'm just saying, you like those though, right?
Yeah,
Like, those are cool.
They look cool. Like when I see them, they're like, damn. Like I wore them to work one day because I was
The neon pair or the black pair?
I got the black pair.
The black pair with like it has like a little orange stitch right by the check.
Yeah, and then it
Yeah.
has the big ass blue zip tie.
Yeah,
Like,
you wear the zip tie with it.
Yeah, I wore it to the.
Oh, you look crazy.
Yeah, I worked as an engineer at this place up here, and I came into work with that big ass zip tie on, and they were, I got roasted on the whole damn day. But shit, I like it.
Yeah, but the thing is that whoever roasted you probably saw something like that elsewhere later, and was like, oh yeah,
Oh, that's a thing.
this guy at work did this thing.
I think he did his research on how much they cost, and then after that, he's like, "Oh, I like them. They're pretty cool." And I was like, "Man, that's the wrong image."
But to me, I always love when people come to the sneaker store. Like we have I think 1,000 different styles at the shop because the shop we have some real estate, so like it has enough square footage to put out a lot of shoes. So I love when people walk in and they see a shoe they might never even seen before, or they maybe only seen online, and they actually like the design or they like the shoe. And that to me is the pure joy of like what really got me into sneakers. Is I like sneakers. I wear sneakers. I wear sneakers every day.
Yeah.
I play basketball. I work out, but I wear like all my sneakers, right? So like that's something that I'm doing. I enjoy wearing my sneakers. I might not be matchy, but when I'm wearing my sneakers, I feel confident. I like what I'm wearing, and when other people see me wearing sneakers, they know what's going on, right? Like I don't need to tell them I sell shoes, but you know what I mean? If I go somewhere, it's like, yeah, man, you always got the ooh. I'm just like, yeah, like that's what we do. You know what I mean? Just be fresh. And it's like when people, wear suits to go take tests and stuff. Like it's that.
You look
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Look good, play good, right?
Yeah.
So, that's why I like when people really like enjoy wearing their sneakers, whether it's like you're just going to work or maybe you're kicking it or you really just beat a pair to death. Because we got people come in the store all the time. They're like, man, I love these shoes as a kid. Or be like, man, I had these years ago and I beat them up and I couldn't find a fresh pair.
Yeah, it's sneakers are more than something you just wear.
Yeah, it has
like
a
the sneakers
nostalgia
I got
thing.
on right now,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
I go
the
out in
Samurai.
public and people are like, "What'd you write on them on the side of them?" And I just love seeing people's reactions.
Yeah,
and
you
they're-
stunned on them.
Yeah, and then they're like, "What the hell you wearing?" And then this and that, and it's pretty cool just to have different, like, just same with Off-White. People are like, "What the hell are those?" Like, ooh, some people like them. Some people that like country people at work, they're like, "Dude, I like those a lot." That you would never think that, like, if they seen it online, they'd be like,
I say it's a work of art, really. Shoes.
yeah,
Whether you,
I think that's the
whether
first
you
thing
know
look
about
at,
it,
too.
whether you know about something about it or not, you know what I mean. There's a reaction, right?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean. So,
Yeah. I just want to ask one thing. What was the first pair of shoes you flipped?
I think it was like some year of the Jordan 7s,
Sevens.
year of the Rabbit 7s.
I
Sorry.
don't know what you're talking about.
Have you ever got a really exclusive pair of shoes and just said, "I'm keeping these"?
They're actually up for sale right now, but yeah, I got some like Kobe Duke P's. I know we're in like UK U of L land, but I'm a Duke fan, so that meant a
Hey,
lot
I'm a
to
Duke
me.
fan too.
Yeah, it's a size 14, which I think Kobe actually wore.
That's
So
dope.
through some
Hey.
friends.
Does it add value?
What's
Yeah,
that?
Does that add any value to it?
It does.
I guess, but you can't prove. Like I can't
Yeah,
call Kobe, but like,
that's
yo,
true.
man, you wore these. You know what I mean? Like,
Check the tongue real quick.
yeah, and then through a rapper, actually got the Kobe Jordan pack, which is 2 Jordans that they did to commemorate Kobe retiring. So it was 2 Jordans, the Jordan 3 and the Jordan 8, both white with the Laker colorway, the yellow and the purple.
Yeah.
And those were like only given to like the friends and family. So that was a pack. So
That's sick.
I got that and flipped it and sold that. A whole bunch of mess. So
you about the flipping, not the keeping.
well, I think it's important to like understand like, hey, these are things that can really. It's like a layup. You have to take those. In business. Because
Absolutely.
money will do a lot more for me than
Than having
Holding on
something.
to
some
a
of
pair
them
of
just
shoes,
kind of like,
yeah.
oh, I'm looking, that's nice. Like at certain point in my career, it's like there's sacrifices you have to make.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's one of those things. It's like I love sneakers, but at the same time, if I'm not gonna wear them, I'm selling them.
Of course.
How much time do you think you spend at your own store down there in Nashville?
I'm on the road a lot, mainly just buying supplies and buying sneakers. So probably maybe half a month, if that.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so you just pop in every now and then, whatever. Or...
Well, I got employees, so I feel like I don't need to be in there.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in there, I'm working on the online stuff.
Yeah, I feel
Because
that.
the store itself is a monster. There's a lot of stuff to do. Because like having a brick and mortar, have the storefront, you gotta have customer service. We do consignment, so you got some stuff you want to sell, you can bring it in. We do 80-20 split like Flight Club, but like those that needs to be upkept, right? So that has to be a lot of paperwork and be like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, your item sold, you can come get a check. Like somebody has to do all that. So
Yeah.
we're in the process of like trying to figure out how to automate all that stuff and figure it out. And for me, having the store is also like figure out, build policies, like, or have protocols for my employees. Be like, hey, in this situation, you do this.
Okay.
Like end of the night, this is the checklist.
Yeah.
How to close the store.
So it's something different that you're.
For sure,
For
because
you,
I've been a one-man band for so long, right?
Yeah.
From 2011 to 2017, I was just
By
hustling by
yourself,
myself. I didn't have any rules, so like
That is true.
this brings
New ballpark,
structure.
yeah, new
Yeah.
ballpark.
Brings structure and really like a sense of serious tone to running a business.
Yeah.
Right. Like having a brick and mortar where I feel so like all your operation people can come in and see you do is a lot different than just the internet, which
Yeah.
is just a website.
Before we get into the Timeless 10, I've been following you for a while, and then I seen you tweet a couple times about how you're banned from Nike, this and that. You want to tell us that story or what's up with that?
So that goes back to when we were talking about that first summer I was buying stuff off Nike for 40% off. So I remember when I was in class and I actually had two accounts at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was logging into one, buying from one, and I'll log out and I'll go buy another couple pairs off the other account.
Yeah.
And one day they just banned me. So I couldn't use my name. I couldn't use my mom's name. my student, like my address at college. So like the mailing room, I think that was banned. So if you went to Emory University and you were trying to buy a pair of shoes off Nike and it says your address is hot, like
My bad.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I was on the school IP, so I'm pretty sure they banned that too. So until this day, I've still had problems. Even when I want to buy some like tech fleece or like sweats or something, I still like if I use my name, like probably be like, then go through. Sorry. So, the lifetime ban. It's crazy.
Iconic.
That's crazy. Has that hurt your business at all?
No, we don't really buy directly from Nike online a lot.
Okay.
We go to the Nike outlets pretty often though.
Yeah.
So
Find
I
some
mean, if
gyms.
you can get a Nike online, I think most people can get it too. So
Yeah. Before we end this podcast, I appreciate you coming.
Yes,
It
sir.
was a
Thank you,
pleasure
man.
talking to you. We'll definitely come down and check out the store one time, buy some
anytime.
shoes.
Sure.
there's Saturday.
it's only a
But,
45-minute drive from here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what we do at the podcast at the end is with every guest, we do a little timeless 10. So what that is he's going to ask you 10 quick questions and just answer them rapidly.
Cool.
And then after that, we'll get you a clock. We'll break it, and then we'll sign it after we clean it up and all that, and then put a quote on there. So he's going to go ahead with the timeless
All right,
10.
There we go. All right, first question. If you had to work but didn't need the money, what would you choose to do?
Chef.
Be a chef?
Yep.
Dope. If you could disinvent one thing, what would it be?
Those Fila,
The boat shoes?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Those are terrible.
Everybody knows what you're talking about. All right, if you could meet one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
If I can be one person dead or alive,
Meat.
Meat, yeah.
Oh, Genghis Khan.
Who's that?
What?
Damn,
I don't know, bro. Who's that?
skip the fuck
The
out of high school.
Mongolian, the guy that pretty much ruled all of Asia, all of China.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
I think like
I thought it was
some big
kind of
ass
rapper.
number of people on this planet are related to him directly.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Genghis Khan.
All right.
It's a badass dude.
I have to look him up.
If you had all the money in the world, what would be the first thing you buy?
Some sneakers.
Which one? What are your favorite pair?
I like the Air Max. I like the red and white Air Max 1. The Jordans, I like the Jordan 3 Black Cement.
Black cement.
So I'll probably
Yes,
buy a
sir.
couple pairs of those each.
Dope.
All right. If you had one piece of advice for the younger generation, what would it be?
Seize your opportunities because they're not going to be here forever.
I like that.
Who inspired you the most growing up?
My mom,
Who's your favorite artist right now?
like music.
Yeah, music.
I'll say still Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's dope. I can see it. I don't know why I can see it on you.
It's like-
You look like
yeah.
somebody listen to Jay-Z.
You
A
like
lot of
Jay-Z?
Jay-Z stuff I'm still listening to and really still taking away, part of it away just like as I get older and
Keep
older.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What's the most common reason you think people give up is?
People don't see the big picture, right? When you plant something, it takes a couple days for you to see the sprout, and a couple days for that to keep growing. So most people give up right before see the sprout, right? It takes 6 months for your body to change if you decide to, work out and diet, but people give up before that.
Absolutely. All right. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Maybe live forever.
Live forever.
Is that a superpower?
I mean,
It would
yeah.
be, yeah.
it would be.
Immortality.
Yeah.
Cool.
It would be.
And what's one thing you can't live without? Like a material item?
Material item? Probably my iPhone.
Phone?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
this day and age, it's
Yeah.
pretty
It
common.
does everything for you, man.
All right, one last thing is on all the clocks, we have quotes written up. Do you have a quote?
Yes.
What's your quote?
What's the quote?
Opportunity is not a lengthy visitor.
Okay. I like
Dope.
that.
So now we're gonna break the clock, and then
Nice. Oh, this is
after the
tight.
yeah, just watch your hand.
You want
on
some
that
eye
shit.
protection?
I don't want no,
You got some goggles?
he got-
No, I got glasses,
Never
man.
mind.
We're good.
just hit it one time with that hammer and see what it's talking about.
I'm gonna wear the damn goggles.
Hey, hold on, let's get it on camera. Move it over
All right, let's go.
Actually, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give it a little smack. There we
Good
go.
break. All right.
I
Thank
am
y'all so
again,
much for
dog.
watching.
Appreciate you coming
Thank you
again, man.
guys. Shout out to the Timeless Podcast.